The most thrilling, spine-tingling series ever.
From the pages of R.L. Stine's best-selling books,
And the screams go on forever and ever.
We now return to Goosebumps.
Greetings, Goosebumps fans, young and old, big and small, living dead and undead. Welcome back to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Isaiah Vargas, and I'm joined by my good buddies, Bjorn Palnick and Nick Shaw. We are the Goosebumps Crew, and we're back to talk some Goosebumps. If this is your first time joining us here on the Goosebumps Crew Podcast, I want to welcome you all. If you are or have ever been a fan of the Goosebumps series of books or the franchise that it spawned, then I have a feeling that this podcast is going to be right up your alley. I always say that me, Bjorn, and Nick are some of the biggest Goosebumps nerds on the entire planet. We could talk about Goosebumps for hours on end, and that's exactly what we do here on this podcast. Every week we have brand new episodes talking about all kinds of Goosebumps topics, talking about the books, TV shows, movies, video games, merchandise, whatever it is. If it has Goosebumps in the name, we're going to talk about it for years on end. So if you want to hear us babble about Goosebumps for hours, then make sure if you like today's episode, you leave a like and comment. Make sure you subscribe to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast over on YouTube and hit the bell notification to get notifications when new episodes go up. And of course, check out some of our past episodes if you have a chance. If you want to get episodes a day before they go up on YouTube, you can follow our audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. New episodes go up a day before the YouTube versions over on those platforms. And of course, you can follow the Goosebumps Crew Podcast over on social media to get updates on the podcast, just to kind of see what we're up to and maybe even have a chat here and there. We are available over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. And of course, you can follow Bjorn and Nick at Goosebumps Aussie Fan and Shawn respectively on their social medias and their YouTubes. They really deserve the support, so go do that. All those links are going to be in the description below. So thank you for your support in advance. Join the crew today. And yeah, let's talk some Goosebumps. So if you remember when we talked about Goosebumps Series 2000, that was episode 15, so that was a while back. I started that episode by talking about the distinction between Goosebumps sequel series and Goosebumps spin-off series. In that episode's case, Series 2000 is the very first sequel series to the original Goosebumps run of the original 62. But there's also the spin-off section of Goosebumps books. These are the series that were going alongside what was the main series at the time, whether it be the OG or Series 2000. These were sort of the side projects. So you had Give Yourself Goosebumps, Tales to Give You Goosebumps, and the subject for today's topic, which is a series of books simply known as Goosebumps Presents, or as the community calls it, Goosebumps TV Presents. Now, these books are pretty simple overall. These are books that are adaptations of the episode adaptations of the original books, if you can wrap your head around that. These are books based on TV episodes, which are based on books. So it all comes back around full circle. But these are essentially novelizations of the individual episodes. So basically, they take the TV episode and they take it and make it into a book. So it's a lot shorter than your typical Goosebumps book. And not only that, but it also, as you can, I don't know. Oh, it says right here, with 8 pages of full color photos from the original show. So not only are these novelizations of the episodes, but if you open the book on the inside, you will see photos from the actual episode. Now, it's unknown.
Which I'm happy about because I can't weed.
Exactly. So
I need pretty pictures.
It's unknown why this series was exactly made. Well, I shouldn't say it's unknown. It's very much because of the popularity of the original TV series. But it's very weird to have books based on episodes based on books. At that point, you might as well just go read the original book. But as we said, these were books that were coming out alongside the original 62 and Series 2000 and the TV show, so they were just another thing to add to your Goosebumps collection. And this was a relatively short-lived series. This series started in 1996 and went until 1998. Now, we've brought these books up tons of times in some of our past episodes. We, of course, talked about it in our rarest, most expensive Goosebumps books episode. We've brought them up a few times when we've done episode retrospectives, like The Girl Who Cried Monster and Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So we've talked about these a few times, but we're going to really get into it and talk about what makes these books so unique to the Goosebumps franchise. Now, before we really get into the knee-deep details. What do you guys think of this series? Was it always interesting to you guys?
Well, it was interesting. It's not something I really was into when they first came out. I was just more into the show and just the original run of books. Because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, why are they making books about a TV show about books? I was totally confused. I just thought it was another version of the book that did just put photos in, and I didn't want it. Which now I totally regret, given some of the pricing on some of these books. Thankfully, I have a whole set, but I mean, like, it's stupid expensive. So, and I guess some of the details in the book vary from either the episode or the book. So. I mean, there's kind of a reason to pick them up anyway. They're kind of unique in that sense. I was kind of upset they never did a haunted mask, but oh well, kind of weird they didn't do one.
We wish they did more. We wish they did more of the TV Presents books. Why didn't they just go ahead and do all of them? Like, I mean, who doesn't want to teach us pet TV Presents book? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, duh. I want a teacher's pet one. Can I have photos inside of the fly and all that stuff? I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm always saying with these guys how lucky I was, because when I was collecting Goosebumps, I was able to get these quite easily. I was obtaining them very easily. I had 3 copies of Revenge of the Law Gnomes. I now have 1 because I have given said copies to other Goosebump collectors. This guy down the bottom.
None of which named Isaiah Vargas by any chance.
But I liked them because when I was collecting Goosebumps in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was, obviously being such a crazy Goosebumps nerd, it was like just really something extra to collect. And I used to like looking at the color photos because I couldn't watch the TV series other than the ones that were on VHS, really, and the occasional time they would rerun some. So it gave me an insight of other ones that were made, but I just couldn't really watch because I didn't know where to watch them unless Fox Kids did, like a rerun. So, I'm
disappointed. I thought you were going to say that you couldn't read either. And I thought we were going to have something in common. And that's why you wanted the colored photos.
Just when I thought this was a safe space.
No. I thought I found another person like me.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just like
but you actually
are
can't
forever
read.
alone there, Nick.
You actually can't read?
No. It's weird,
isn't
it?
Dyslexic? Or are you just stupid?
You can read. You can read. Otherwise, you always said that's your favorite Goosebump book. How are you able to read it? Huh? It wasn't your favorite book?
He found the Braille version.
I had it read to me.
Yeah.
It was read to you.
Now, that's a real bumpy book right there. Anyway, thanks for coming.
Wow.
We'll see you later. But this is a really interesting series. Now, I'm kind of the same as, well, I wouldn't say I'm the same as you, Nick, because I didn't grow up in the same time as you. But when I first started getting into Goosebumps, I didn't really, look at these books and was like, oh, I need to get those. I was just kind of like, oh, neat. I was more focused on the original series, like the ones that, really, I don't want to say really mattered, but they really mattered at the time. But yeah, nowadays with what we know as collectors, these are hot commodities to have in your collection. Like,
Gold.
these are
They are the true
Goosebumps Gold.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
along with Black Spine, Give Yourselves, and God, like a few of the like miscellaneous books, Screams in the Night, Goosebumps Live on Stage, that sort of stuff. These Goosebumps Presents, some more than others, but mostly all of these are pretty hard to find, pretty hard to come around. And if you guys have seen our 14th episode, which we mentioned earlier, where we talk about rare, expensive Goosebumps books, that's one that we did with our good buddy Goosebumps Completionist. He brought a good point up that these spin-off series, the reason why you don't see these books as often as stuff from the original series is because they didn't do a lot of printings of these books. They were a little more scarce in how many they made compared to the original series, since those ones were more mainstream. These books weren't as printed back in the day, and that's why there's so few to find now, especially because only collector mentalities really only started to pop up about a decade or two ago. So probably when these books were coming out, nobody really, gave a piss about these.
What is the printing on that one specifically that you're holding? Like, is it a first, second? Like, because I actually have never third print. So they probably only did like 3, maybe. Yeah. Like maybe 3, the
5. You could probably count the printings on one hand.
Yeah.
But that's mostly why you are hard-pressed to find these books, and especially some of the later ones in this series. Now, as I said before, this series didn't last super long. It only was for 2 years, and there's only 18 books in the series, one of which was unreleased, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's also really unique because not only are these some of the shortest Goosebumps books, but they're also actually, despite R.L. Stine's name being on these books, many of these books were ghostwritten. I don't think there's a single one that actually had R.L. Stine write these, which is understandable. As if you guys will remember when we talked about lost Goosebumps books, we mentioned that one of the reasons that Goosebumps fizzled out in the late 90s is because there was a lot of accusations going around about R.L. Stine hiring ghostwriters. It was a really weird gray area, because he was allowed to have ghostwriters on the spin-off series, so that's where you'll find out that there were ghostwriters for Give Yourself Goosebumps and these books, but he couldn't have ghostwriters on the original series. That was outside of his contract. But as we find out more and more, there's a few of the spin-off series that Stine had little to no involvement in. I think what they said was he would probably approve the final draft, or maybe they would come up with the outline. But these ones, I think, are blatant that they were mostly written by other people. We'll go more into the details about who wrote what book in a little bit. But also, this was a series that, like Give Yourself Goosebumps, went through a little bit of a design change midway through the series. So we're now going to go through each of these books. So the one I was holding up for a long time is the first one, based on The Girl Who Cried Monster. Now, another thing we should mention is that none of the books have episodes that were released on tape. So like Nick said, there was no Haunted Mask one, there was no Terror Tower, no Dead House, Living Dummy 3. It mostly kept to...
But there was a Camp Nightmare VHS.
There was a Camp Nightmare, and there was an Attack of the Mutant. So there were some two-parter episodes. I personally believe that this series went for episodes that were not already available on home video, because none of these episodes were on VHS, and there wasn't DVD back then. And more to what you were saying, Bjorn, you were saying that these were kind of your only way to watch or see the episodes unless they reran on Fox Kids. I'm almost willing to bet that's why the series was made, at least one reason. Because back then, again, you had no DVD and you had no way to, stream episodes, and, DVRs didn't exist yet, so you can't record a programming. You basically had to catch it on TV or record it off of a VHS tape, and even then you still have to wait for it to come on TV. So this was sort of like the only way that you could see these episodes at home in book form. So it was either the VHS tapes or the ones that were released, or this, or you had to wait for the schedule to align with what you wanted. So it was a different time.
And they did a Return of the Mummy VHS.
Well, that was
I see the other book.
and I'm also pretty sure that was a screener that
was
wasn't
Camp Nightmare.
publicly released.
Promotional.
Camp Nightmare,
It was
yeah,
a
Camp Nightmare.
promotional, not for sale copy in the UK only. It's funny because we mentioned about there was a Camp Nightmare tape. This series ended in '98. The TV Presents. The Camp Nightmare tape came out in '99. So it was almost like once these ended, they were like, "Oh, we can do." So then they did that one, but it was such a late release. Like, and a Goosebumps VHS to come out in 1999 is like super unheard of, and it was only in the UK, like officially. But were a lot of places that did import here in Australia. That's why I managed to come across.
Because word hadn't traveled yet that Goosebumps was dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
It was in its post-mortem
like,
state. It was still
almost like
going.
they thought, well, while we still have the license, let's quickly release another one, and they did. They got.
It was going
Camp
through what
Nightmare.
I call media rigor mortis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did have Night of the Living Dummy 2 in Australia, but that was only because they just decided to slap it on with 3. That's the only
Well, and
thing.
as
It
we
wasn't
found
like,
out too, there was. I don't remember
Which made
what
sense.
country it was from. but
Old story.
one country got a ton of VHS releases of like singular episodes, but I can't
was
for
it
the life of
Spanish
me
or
remember.
Italian or something, wasn't it?
It was either Spanish or Italian, but yeah, there was,
Yeah, I want to say Italian.
I think so.
Sounds right.
Yep. But
Yeah.
going back to the Presents books, so taking a look at this kind of book, so you can see that the cover sort of resembles, a regular Goosebumps book. It's got the slime and the 2-color palette. But then you also have the pictures from the TV episode. You got one big one here and a few small ones. So this one is Girl Who Cried Monster. So you got Mr. Mortman right here. You got Lucy, human Mr. Mortman, and then Randy down here. So it gives you a little taste about what you could have seen in the episode. Now, as you can see, these books are thin. These books are thin. I'm not kidding when I say that these are the shortest Goosebumps books ever written.
That's why they get so. That's why half the time when you do find them in the wild, their pages are falling apart because like you get a little bit of moisture in one of these, and like those back pages just start to crease, and then they just rip off. Like they're so hard to keep these ones in good shape, which is why we highly recommend the TV Presents books to get sleeved, even the more common ones, just because
I recommend all books getting sleeved anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe to prevent yellowing and all the other stuff. If keep them from getting nasty.
Now, take a look at the back here. So this looks exactly like a classic Goosebumps book. You got the picture here and the slime all coming down. It looks exactly like a classic Goosebumps book. As you can see here, though, instead of the sort of the typical, short blurb of what to expect in the book, each of these books actually has sort of like an interview-esque dialogue from the main character of the book. So I'll read this one out. This is for Girl Who Cried Monster. It says on the back here, "Do you like monsters? I do. I love telling monster stories, especially to my little brother Randy. He's a total scaredy cat, but now I have a little problem. See, it all started when I went to the library. That's where I met Mr. Mortman. He's a really creepy librarian. And one night after the library closed, I saw Mr. Mortman eat a whole bowl of tarantulas for dinner. That's right, he's a real-life monster. And now he's after me for dessert. Lucy Dark." So it's almost like they sat the kid down and was like, "What's your story?" And I kind of like that. It makes it feel a little more personal with the main character. Turning to the inside, I'll have to look through. I'll have to look through and see if all the books have this, but it has a little like promotional thing on the inside. It says, "Have you seen the new show on Fox Kids TV? It's creepy, it's spooky, it's funny, it's Goosebumps. Don't you love Goosebumps on TV? And if you do, then you'll love this book, The Girl Who Cried Monster. It's exactly what you see on TV, complete with pages and pages of color photos right from the show. It's spooktacular. So check under your bed, pull your covers up tight, and start to read The Girl Who Cried Monster. Goosebumps Presents is so good, it's scary." And then, as we said...
So good, it's scary.
So,
I use that tagline on a lot of things.
taking a look here... Pull my mic closer. Taking a look right here, you can see that it says this book has been adapted by Megan Stein. I don't know if there's any relation. I'll get back to you on that. From the teleplay by Charles Laser, based on the book by R.L. Stein. So, again, giving you an idea about how confusing these books are. This is an adaptation written by one author based off the screenplay by a screenwriter, which is based off the writing from the original book by R.L. Stein. So it's sort of like a game of book telephone in a sense.
Yeah. Wow.
Because and I believe we were even told this by someone, I don't remember who it is, but I believe somebody told us that like these books were basically adapted from the screenplay. And that's why sometimes there's a few things that are a little different even from the episode. But these are basically adaptations of the original episode and not the book. So there's going to be some differences between these books and the original books. But going to the color pages that they advertise. So each book in the middle, right before you continue with the story, has these color photos. They're either directly taken from the episode or they are production set photos.
In that page.
Look at little Randy, like in the front page. Just
I can hear his blood curdling scream in that.
He's just he's a little shit. I'm sorry. You know, like the part where she brings the photos out, like when they go to the photography place. And he's like, let me see. And he like knocks them out of her hand.
Mm-hmm. So these were like your only ways to have like this. It's funny because these photos are almost like a story within a story because they tell the story through the photos in like a very, very, very fast way. But some of these would have like, these are mostly screen caps from the episode. But as you can see here, this is sort of like a different photo taken of this scene. I almost wonder if it was like a set photo.
They're set photo stills for sure. Like, yeah, someone's taken these. That is like the greatest image like ever. That one right there.
Which one? This one?
I want that blown up and put in a frame.
It is
the one of Monster Mortman on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's such a cool picture. Like that would be a nice one to have, up on the wall.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, these books are short. This one goes only till 10 chapters, so you could knock these out super, super fast, as if you already couldn't read a Goosebumps book super fast. So, Girl Cried Monster.
Megan Stein is related to R.L. Stein in the fact that that's her brother-in-law.
That's her brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
She is an author.
Oh,
says that she's an editor-in-chief of Real You Guides and the author of more than 100 books for young readers.
Wow.
But she is married, or was married, I don't know. They might not be together, I don't know, to a William Stein, H. William Stein. But her brother-in-law is R.L. Stein.
Keeping it in the family, see?
Yeah. Nice.
All right. I did not know that.
Well, taking a look here at the different authors, so we're going to go through the original book, the books in the series. But yeah, so Megan Stein, she wrote the first book, Girl Cried Monster. She also wrote or adapted Welcome to Camp Nightmare and Let's Get Invisible. Carol Ellis is the second author. She adapted The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, or The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Night of the Living Dummy 2, The Headless Ghost, Bad Hair Day, Ghost Beach, and Attack of the Jack-O-Lantern. So she did the most of the series.
Could you imagine if it had an M there, like M, whatever the Megan, so M something Stein. Could you imagine if they did like that? So we still have Stein on there.
Just be like M Stein.
They wouldn't even have to change that.
Something like that.
Confuse the crap out of people.
Yeah.
It's a misprint.
Then you had Francine Hughes, who wrote Return of the Mummy, Diane Amansky, who wrote My Hairiest Adventure, Jane E. Gerver, who wrote Be Careful What You Wish For, Tracy West, Go Eat Worms, Melinda Metz, Attack the Mutant, Teddy Margulies, who did You Can't Scare Me and Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, Elizabeth Winfrey, Monster Blood, and Carla Jablonski, Calling All Creeps. So there was a lot of authors who worked on this series.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be funny if Attack of the Mutant had said Zach Baby TV?
Zachary Baby TV.
He changed the wiki page, so it was like, I wrote that book when I was like 10.
When I was 5 years old. Taking a look at the next book in the series, we have Cuckoo Clock of Doom, which is funny because I'm pretty sure that this episode came out before this one. What do I know? I guess I would say this is probably the best one to start off with because it's the more iconic of the two. But the second one is Cuckoo Clock of Doom, the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. And again, this one is pretty similar to The Girl Who Cried Monster, except it's adapting the Cuckoo Clock of Doom with photos on the inside.
I can't believe Tara got her own page, like her own image on there. Like
This one has the two different versions of Michael, the kid and the baby.
Tara the Terror.
And then
Tara the Terrible.
The picture of the cuckoo head being turned back.
Yeah.
But
I thought that cuckoo looked a little off. Whoever designed that for the show did a great job. Definitely doesn't look like your average cuckoo clock, bird, but
nope, it looks scary.
It's huge.
I like it a lot.
It's huge.
Yeah,
you've seen a cuckoo clock, a real one? It's just a tiny little thing that pops out. This cuckoo clock's like the bird is like it looks like almost like a stuffed bird, like it was really alive, and they
doesn't it?
Yeah,
but
it probably was, and then a magician sorcerer guy put a spell on it.
Unlike
because it makes me wonder, like, where do the origins of a lot of these come from? Like, say the haunted mask. We know the shopkeeper make it, but how did he get it to how are they alive? You know what I mean? It's like, how did he do that part?
Said that there was so much evil behind him that it just kind of tainted.
Well, that's
them.
how it changed their appearance, but not to say that they come alive and can float off and chase you. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, okay, how'd that happen here?
Who knows?
Same thing with the cuckoo clock.
Has a random sticker on it.
Like, what guy in New York, New Jersey made the clock?
About this book, or at least the one that I have, there's no back of the book advertisements. This one does. In fact, as you can see, the book that was advertised at the time was Say Cheese and Die Again when this one came out. Plus even more tales to give you goosebumps.
Say Cheese and Die Again.
Next up, we got Welcome to Camp Nightmare, the third one. And this is a two-parter. So just kind of giving a feel, I don't think this one, even despite being a two-parter, is has a little more meat on its bones in that it's a little longer than the last two. This one does go to chapter 11, so maybe it has a little more in it.
Oh man, it filed for bankruptcy. Chapter 11.
Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Oh dang, son.
Now, this was actually the first TV Presents I ever got.
True story of Goosebumps.
And it's funny because I got this book from a neighbor, and because they had a bunch of, a small stack of Goosebumps books. So they actually had two TV Presents books, and this was the first one I got my hands on, was this one. And this was when I was looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is cool, but I'm like, yeah, do you got any of the original series? So
and now you look at it now and go, oh wait, this is really cool.
Yeah. I always really liked the picture of Saber on the front here. I like how it looks like he's cross-eyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what this cross-eyed.
I know it's funny, if you try to find pictures of Saber, it's hard to seem to get one where his eyes aren't kind of janky a little bit.
Yeah, it almost looks like a dog. In this one, it looks more dog-esque than it does in this photo. That one looks a little more monstrous right there.
If those teeth got you, man, that would dig in,
jack you up.
Yeah, man, it's I love it.
There we got our good buddy Larry, and then there's Uncle Al up there.
That's one interview I wish we could do. Uncle Al, man.
Yeah.
He's so awesome.
Be cool. That'd be really cool. I mean, I just love how Colin's got his own little image on the front. Like,
Yeah.
Colin.
Oh, it's a nice shot because he's leaning on the Camp Night Moon bus.
Yeah. I think that's why they put that. Yeah, that does work really well, having that, like, on the front of the bus. And then, of course, Kai was like, I remember going to a store and I saw my face on a Goosebump. That's like, well, yeah, that's the one you're in.
The fourth book is Return of the Mummy.
Yeah.
Not a particularly memorable episode in my eyes, but
I only have 2 copies of that, which is really weird.
That's one of the episodes where, like, I can legit say the acting was so bad.
There's a
It
nice
was
picture
so
that's
cringy. It hurt my soul a little bit.
Even the kid went on to do, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And he was in, like, Mean Girls. Like, I can't remember his name.
Like,
he was, like, terrible. The scream he does in it. When the thing grabs him and he's like,
man. Oh no, your video froze.
At least he screamed. I will give him that. At least he.
Hopefully we don't lose you, Bjorn.
It was, you know what it was? It was the facial expression that didn't work with the scream for some reason. It looked like off. Like the scream didn't work.
Well, I take that back. The scream that they gave in Night of the Living Dummy 3 did work for what they were doing because it was just So
yeah, like it
they
worked.
weren't over exaggerated. It was legit.
This one has tons of back of the book advertisements. Don't you worry, folks. Too, we're gonna do a whole episode talking about back of the book advertisements on one day. I promise you, we will.
And I have 2 things to show from that. That's gonna be like the backpack. Oh, I got the pack. We'll save that for the video, but
nope, we'll save it for the video.
Yeah,
now,
and then the girl, that girl there,
your video's frozen, Bjorn.
I
can't see anything you're doing.
Mine's moving.
There we go. Boom, you're back.
Moving. Okay, the actress from this episode is the one who is dressed up in the slappy suit in Night of the Living Dummy 3. So I randomly have her autograph on the script, which is so weird. I was like, I have her autograph. So technically from Return of the Mummy as well.
Speaking of Night of the Living Dummy, the 5th book, Night of the Living Dummy 2.
Oh. Yeah, we got how many copies of that one? We got...
what'd you say, 7 copies of that?
7 copies, man.
I got 2. I got 2 copies. One for that shelf and one for that shelf. That's how the song goes, right?
The ones that aren't so great, I put in I put in like this 3-pack sleeve. So I put like the 4 good ones there, and then like, so yeah, 7 copies. Night of the Living Dummy 2. TV Presents.
This one definitely has a lot of like set-esque photos for its colored photos, including this one, which is very odd.
Love that one. It's odd, but it's such a unique photo in a way. Like, I remember when I first saw that picture, I was like, that's so unique. Like,
that's love right there.
I like this one. I like Dennis. The 2 dummies sitting there. That's a really good picture that they took.
I like the next one. I think it's on the next page.
This one right here.
Great one, slappy on the left.
That's a really good slappy photo, along with the one on the cover.
About to pop out.
This one on the cover is really good too.
They might have been popping out because, as we know, remember it was all controlled with a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like they might have been ready to pop out.
And then you got these 2. These are really good pictures
they're really good photos, though. They're really, and a lot of them are just long.
Whose guitar was that again? Was that Alan's guitar?
I think that was Alan's guitar. Yeah, that's why they were like, he was really nervous about it.
They smashed his guitar.
Yeah. I don't know if they smashed his guitar, but they were really worried. He was really worried that someone was going to smash it. And they very well could have. And then this one has again, you're adapting the original episode, not the book. So this one has the ending of Dennis revealing himself. And then it even says, it's like, it's good to be back in the family again. The
goofy voice.
Doing the goofy voice.
Yeah. It's annoying because that episode was so creepy for most of it. And then right at the end, it just goes goofy, literally.
I don't know. It still is pretty creepy.
Goofy / kind of creepy because you didn't know that Dennis was alive the whole time. Or was he alive because they read the card near him? I don't know. But see, that's the thing too. Like if that was the case and those magic words bring any ventriloquist dummy to life. In Night of the Living Dummy 3, the whole attic would have came alive. Like, they had tons of them up there.
Well,
then
then they wouldn't have the chance to
really
show
say that
Slappy
either.
using his magic breath. So,
Oh yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
And we established that
shotgun into your mouth.
Cal Dodd did the voice of Dennis too, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he did that.
Yeah.
He did that goofy voice for that. That was awesome. I love that.
They're like,
Well-
it's just one line. We only need one line, and can you just do whatever you feel would work for this dummy?
Yeah,
The creepy
there's
part-
like no need to hire somebody else.
Yeah.
You got Cal Dodd there.
So
Just be like,
that was the
just-
first 5 of this sub-series. So you had Girl Cried Monster, Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Welcome to Camp Nightmare, Return of the Mummy, and Night of the Living Dummy 2. Not a bad stack of episodes. Obviously, of course, all from the first season. Unfortunately, nothing from, say Cheese and Die or Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, Fan of the Auditorium. But
I'm surprised they didn't do all those. I wish
going
they
on to
did.
book 6, they not only changed the whole design, but they started getting into beyond the first season. Not for this next book, though. My Hairiest Adventure. So, no Say Cheese
They
and
make a book
Die,
of that though.
no Piano
Starring
Lessons Can Be Murder, but we
Amos Crawley.
definitely got My Hairiest Adventure. He's like, do you got like those 2 episodes? Like, no. Do you got My Hairiest Adventure? He's like, you better believe we got My Hairiest Adventure.
Best believe it.
You know what? I am actually going to say I am like I know they're doing more than 20-minute episodes. I am really actually kind of upset there isn't a Piano Lessons one. I think that would have made a really cool.
That would have been an
That's
awesome one.
I would have done
Yeah,
that
it
over
would've.
this. Like instead of that, they should have just done Piano Lessons. But
But as you
whatever.
can see, the design was very much changed from the last few. So these ones definitely kept sort of the aesthetic from the original Goosebumps books. They had the slime and the color palettes. This one goes for definitely more of a templated, or I'm not that the other one was not templated, but this one doesn't really have much difference from cover to cover except for the first photo, and it's only one photo now for the rest of the series. But it's definitely a little more color going on in the back there. You can see there's like a big spider web. But yeah, and then the Goosebumps logo itself is very, it almost matches the TV show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it sort of has like the look
In the
of
beginning, when it kind of gets that wave
exactly.
levels out.
It definitely
Yeah.
looks more similar to the TV show opening than the first few did. But yep, so we got My Hairiest Adventure, one of the.
I just don't like the pixelated spider web.
Yeah, it is very pixelated. It's like they really zoomed in the photo.
Like cheaper.
I wonder if that was around the time, like, kind of like when we had Craig White on and they hired him because he did digital art. I wonder if that's kind of like that's what they were doing, was using digital art for the covers from that point. That's why it's pixelated.
Yeah.
You know what I
Look
mean?
at that
Like,
I
photo.
put second print too.
isn't that where he accidentally was shaving his pubes and then hit his wiener?
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like there'd be probably a bigger scream than that.
I don't know. Did you see how wide his mouth got? It looked like a lot of pain, bro.
That's a first, man. I'm dead. Second print. What? I'm like reading the prints of them now, and I'm actually a little disappointed. I have one first print of the dummy one. These are both second. Oh shit!
First print. First print.
Mine's a second,
I
but
would
I do
have
have
to
a
look.
third copy in the room.
I didn't see what mine are.
Shit! Didn't realize about the printing thing.
I'm more concerned with getting a true first of the original 62 at this point, because I think all my Series 2000s are firsts.
All of them.
Yeah, pretty sure. Well, unlike the original series, you're probably not going to find a 13th print of these books. At most, you'll probably find a fourth.
89th printing.
Yeah,
that is a
90th
first.
printing.
I got another first.
Mm-hmm.
I got two firsts of Night of the Living Dummy. The others are all second. I don't have a third print.
Going on to the next book in the series, The Headless Ghosts. We're now in season 2.
Which was a good episode.
Yep, I loved Headless Ghost episode. I think it's one that actually
I like
kind
that
of
episode.
book. A little odd of a choice for a picture on the front, but I guess it kind of makes sense because it's the picture frame of the Headless Ghost. But
Yeah,
Eh,
a little creepy though. It's kind of creepy.
it would have been better to use actual actors though in the scene rather than that, in my opinion.
yeah, like here we got these awesome pictures of the boy. Heck, even this
Of the boy.
picture right here would have made a good cover photo with the
The
wall.
shadowy hands on the wall.
Shadowy hands on the wall.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
The Scooby Doo moment. The Nosferatu moment.
whoa, that's a 5th print, by the way.
Okay, this is always something that really made me angry. The order form being the back cover, so that means you have to cut the cover off if you want to send out. It's one thing to have it on a page, it's another to cut the entirety of the back cover off just to get some Goosebumps books. That would really suck.
Oh yeah,
That would suck.
hands down.
Okay.
That's why I never understood why they just didn't have it as a page by itself, so you could tear it out or cut it out to send it in. I mean, it would make the most sense to do that. Don't even put it on one that's going to share, anything printing on the. Just make it a page by itself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so too.
That would make the most sense.
Bjorn, you're going to have to help me out here. I don't have the 8th book in the series, but the 8th one is going to be Be Careful What You Wish For.
I'll take
kind of
it
an
in the sleeve. That's how special this is. I'll
Kind
take
of
it out for you.
odd choice for an adapted episode for a book. It's
Yeah.
Be Careful
I
What You
think
Wish
so,
For is both an unmemorable book and an unmemorable episode to me, in my personal opinion. But
Episode was okay.
I think the cover's pretty
The
cool.
episode-
I mean,
it's
it's not
fine,
like
it's
in
just
my
not-
top 10 or probably even top 20. I'd
well,
actually
yeah,
have
it's
to go through
okay.
this
It's
10
just not one of
episodes and
my.
see, but
It's not one that I'm gonna be always remembering. Be careful what you wish for.
And mine's definitely a first print too. I just checked it.
Nice.
Yeah, you got your basketball scene. And there you got the girls being like, she sucks.
one
Got that.
of them. One of them's Dennis in a basketball jersey. He's like, oh.
it's good to be back on the team again.
Yeah, no, it's I think these later ones though, regardless, like I think most of them would have just been first prints of these later ones, kind of like Series 2000, when they just
That's what I'm thinking too.
find a first print. So, but yeah, pretty.
Because that was the start, I think, of the Goosebumps decline. And I don't know how well the book sales for these were at the time, but since they weren't making very many to begin with, I'm
yeah,
going to guess probably
It's pages.
not well.
Mm-hmm.
This has so many pages too. Like,
8 pages of photos, which is great because I can't read.
It seems like
there's the
as
scene
the
where
series
she's
went
like-
on, they grabbed like actual good photos because some of the earlier books had terrible photos. Going back to My
yeah.
Hairiest Adventure, like some of these photos are super grainy and zoomed in. Like here, take a look at this photo showing the Instatan. That is such a bad photograph. It's so
Oh, yeah.
blurry. You can barely see what it even says.
but yeah, be careful what you wish for.
90s, man. It's the 90s.
The 90s. The
I
Noid.
admit, I do
Polaroid.
All right, moving on to number 9, we got Go Eat Worms, aka one of the worst episodes.
Why? Why?
One
Yeah,
of,
I don't know why
Be in
most
that
of these got
place.
books, man.
yeah.
Welcome to Deadhouse should have been done into a TV book.
I wish Scarecrow Walks at Midnight would have got one.
Yeah, Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. That would have totally been a
Like,
good.
how did that not get one?
That would have been great. But nope, we got Go Eat Worms with
Yeah.
another really
Yeah,
odd
Go
choice
Eat
for a
Worms,
cover
man.
photo. But
They had to do Go Eat Worms though. Like, think about it. Like, it's one of the best episodes. They had to do it, right?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, bro.
there we go. We got the spaghetti, and then
And that,
Well,
that worm that just happened to look like Nobody's gonna finish that sentence. You want me to do it? I'll say it. I'll say it right now.
I know what it
Say
looked
it.
like.
Go on, say it.
It looked like a big thumb.
Man, I don't have a single
No,
first
man.
print of these.
It looked like a weenus.
Well, there it is
Venus.
right there.
Joint weenus.
Can you see it?
It's so ridiculous. I can't believe they did a TV book of it though. Like, I just like, oh, it's so stupid.
Oh boy, look at that.
Who
Oh, my
decided
gosh.
on these?
Yeah.
Well, do you think
Look at
maybe
that.
they did the ones that did have more set photos that they could use for the book?
Maybe, who knows? It's just really odd choices. Like again, like Scarecrow Walks at Midnight would have been a really good one. They could have done ones for like, I don't know, Shocker on Shock Street or something like that. I know these books were coming out around the time that the series was about to end anyway, so they totally could have done some season 3, but just
Yeah.
really odd choices. But
Well,
Very
Fever
odd.
Swamp, World Fever Swamp, Night Terror.
Well, that kind of
I'm
goes back
surprised,
to
you know,
why
with how much
they didn't
pushed that.
do those, because they were already on VHS. It's kind of like the One Day at Horrorland. I think that's why they didn't do that one either.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Could have done
Yeah,
Vampire
VHS
Breath.
release.
They could have done How to Kill a Monster. Didn't get any of those.
yeah, that would have been a cool one.
Again, no Say
would've
Cheat
liked
and
that.
Die, no piano lessons, no Phantom of the Auditorium. There's a lot of them that they could have done.
Piano Lessons, I feel like
Oh, no.
made some cool.
We got Bad Hair Day. We got
Sweet.
Bad Hair
We
Day.
had-
I'm so glad they did that one, But nothing's gonna beat, My Hairest Adventure or Return of the Mummy. I mean, those were classic episodes that
Why did
people
they
watch
do-
all the time,
Why did they do It Came From Beneath the Sink?
Oh yeah, they could have done
right?
that.
Yeah, no, I like
Look
that.
at this photo. It looks
I
like
like
he's
that.
enjoying tormenting the guy. It looks like he's having a
Didn't
blast.
Try the cat.
Try the Cat.
Good
as a
Try
TV
the
book?
cat.
It could have
That
done.
would have been a late one as well, like to come out really late. Bride of the Living Dummy. They could have done two
So I can
staffies.
see the mom who was allergic to cats.
Yeah, oh
to
my
get all
god.
like messed up.
There's El Sydney and the Two Rabbits.
El Sydney. And then in the book, he's literally, the bunny rabbit is named Amazo. See, there's a few changes.
We give up
His name is
Showbiz?
Amazo in the book.
Two
the original
changes, and they still weren't any better.
book. No.
Because
All right, next up, we got Let's Get Invisible.
Oh, yes.
This is a good episode.
I only
like
have one
Let's
of
Get
those. I
Invisible.
don't know why. I have one copy of that. That's weird.
Yeah, I have one.
I thought I had two.
too.
I had
One
to.
first edition copy.
Yours is. I don't have a single first edition of Girl Who Cried Monster. I can't believe it. I have a third, and I have like 4 5s. They're all really nice condition, but like, that's just ridiculous. Because now we know there was 5 printings of Girl Who Cried Monster, hence why you find that one the most
At
commonly.
least.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Could have been more.
Should have been more. 10 prints. I gotta find a first. I probably had a first of that, but see, I actually traded a lot of Girl Who Cried Monster ones over the years, but I never looked at the first prints back then. So I probably had one. I just, yeah, I never. I thought at least if I had a second one, I wouldn't be so bad. But geez, a third,
Mhm.
weird.
But I really like. I actually kind of like Let's Get Invisible. I thought it was an interesting episode. Kind of an underrated.
like it.
Too. Yeah, I think it's a little
Classic. I think
underrated.
it's a classic Goosebumps episode in my opinion. Underrated.
Now, do you prefer the book or do you prefer the episode?
Mm.
I mean, it's been forever since I read the book. I would say probably the episode.
It's got all the traits of a classic Goosebumps. Like you've got you've got the you got your kids, you got the creepy mirror, you got the music, you got the house is the same house they used in oh god, I'm drawing a blank, but the house that they used was reused in another episode. The same house and from the outside.
Dead House.
No.
Night of the Living Dummy 3.
No. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember now. I can't remember, but the house from Let's Get
House of No
Invisible.
Return.
You guys comment down below. What other episode was it used? There was two episodes that used the same house, and it was Let's Get Invisible and another one. Just can't remember the other one, but it might have been Say Cheese and Die, maybe. I'm just trying to remember, but oh no, it wasn't Say Cheese and Die. No, it wasn't. Just trying to go through each episode of my brain and try to remember which one it was, but it was definitely reused twice. I just can't remember the other one, but we'll find it. I'll have to find. We'll have to. Canada's biggest Goosebump fan would know.
Who knows?
She would know.
All right, the next two I don't have, so Bjorn, I'm going to need your help again. Next one, book number 12, is another two-parter.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't get my books out for this. I figured they both had this covered. We didn't need a third person having the whole set here.
We have Attack of the Mutant, for number 12, another two-parter.
Written by Jack Baby TV.
Man. Yeah. Attack of the Mutants.
Yep, there's your Attack of the Mutants TV Presents.
There's
our buddy Scott.
Scott. I've
got a random barcode sticker on the back, but I don't want to rip it off. I'll have to
scan it.
I have to get some heat.
Scan it.
Look how white those pages are inside, man. White. And I will go to the color photos as well. This is a first printing. Very nice. We got Skipper. And we got Skipper and his girlfriend having a nice little.
He's nice girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
His girlfriend. He doesn't even like girls. The girls had cooties then.
Girls had cooties back then? Or he's reading his
back then.
Yeah,
they don't now?
Cooties, bro. Cooties have been around since the dawn of time.
Since the dawn of man.
There they are in the. I'm surprised I didn't get a color photo of the bus that had Goosebumps 2 thumbs up. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Thumbs up. I love that.
But, yeah. We got these.
I would like that standee.
And we got the masked mutant there. There he is.
He looks jazzed. He looks ready to go.
It's a shame they didn't let him keep the costume.
Yeah. They would have Wes keep his costume.
I was going to say, that was in his contract, but
yeah,
they should have let Scott.
I get to keep the costume, otherwise I'm not doing it. Then we got him reading his comic book for his dad was like, hey, you're studying, what was it, trigonometry or something?
Aren't you supposed to be doing math?
Nerd.
There's Adam West.
Nerd.
Hey. Mr.
The Galloping Gazelle.
Yeah.
Here, I can describe this episode in one word, and it's from that one Simpsons episode. Nerd. Nerd.
Oh, we got one more page in the back.
Oh, he's falling and he can't get up.
Ooh,
that's a great shot of
that's a
Scott
good picture.
With some awesome lighting. Yeah,
that's a really good picture.
That's one we should get signed. So you know what we could have done? We could have even these what do you got scanned? And they got some really high res images from these. This was actually an old library copy of the book. I just realized too. He's got the library thing there. But this is my other copy. I have two of these. I got two of these. This is my library edition. But I like finding old Goosebumps library books because it tells that story, you know? Like, this TV book was a library book. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even original 62, but even this was at a library. And I think it's kind of unique in a way that, even the TV books were found in libraries. And this was from Iowa. There you go.
Ooh. Iowa made its way all the way to Australia.
Yep. From Cedar Rapids.
I found this in a bookstore here. That's the weird thing. It was at a bookstore for sale. So someone had brought it over. It ended up at a bookstore. And in the back, I'll see if there's anything. It's just the usual. Oh, it's advertising the cool scary caps.
Yeah.
Thing. So
scary caps.
But to think that even the TV books were in libraries, not just the original 62. So there we go.
Yeah, kids were getting their filthy mitts on those rare books.
It's a random library edition of this book. So I think it's I like when you get a Goosebump book that tells a story. This is one of those interesting ones because it's TV book and it's one of the later TV books.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that very much.
Black
All right.
spine.
Very interesting. But it was very well looked after regardless because it's very white on the inside. Next book is, of course, book number
13. Lucky number 13.
Ghost
It's
Beach.
Ghost Beach.
Let's take it out of the packet.
Such an amazing cover for the book, such an amazing concept for the story, such bad execution for the episode.
Do you see the opening in
acting was
those
terrible.
rocks?
And it was the skeleton faces. No, yeah.
Stay with
I
us,
just thought
cousin.
Yeah.
Like the first
really
winner.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair.
This is a really nice addition to it, but it's got a random. So Warner Brothers a random sticker.
Oh my god,
Yeah, but I
Bugs
never wanted to
Bunny's in
take
this
it off.
book.
I
that a
never
stamp?
wanted to take it off though because it's from
I think it's a
1997,
stamp.
and it's a stamp, which is why I was like, I could have taken it off, and it's not like stuck on. I could pull it off, but I really don't want to.
So
I
weird.
like the sticker. I really like that sticker for some reason. I didn't want to take it off because I was like, it's
That is
1997
random.
around that time as well. So someone bought this book and put that sticker on it back then in 97. So I'm like, I'm going to keep it on there. If it was just a generic, barcode
The
sticker,
only way
I'd
to
rip
make
it off.
this episode interesting is to put Bugs Bunny on it. With
Yeah,
the-
really condition, man. White, very beautiful. And this is also a first print. I'm going to say most of these later ones were just first prints, to be honest.
yeah, I was gonna say
Well, they most likely
imagine
were.
past the first 5 or 6 they just
But it's got some
one
really nice
maybe second print. but-
it's a little bit like River Phoenix in that picture for some reason. And then we got
She does? Or he does?
he does a little bit.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
She kind of does too.
A little bit of both.
But this is actually one of my better condition Goosebumps TV Presents books. It's really nice. Very white. And we got
So what'd you guys think of the ending to that episode?
Um,
Not
ending off
the
terribly.
kid and going into the cave and crap, but I'm talking about the what were
Yeah,
they
it's like
related to them, like their grandparents or
I
something?
mean, it's creepy, but it's not like it's more kind of weird than creepy to me.
It's a really bad quality picture.
Well, see, the only thing that I thought of, like after they did the reveal, I was like, oh, as a kid, you're like, you don't think about it. It's like, oh, man, that's kind of creepy, yeah. But then, like, as I went back and watched that episode, I don't know, maybe like last year or something, didn't they get sent there by their parents, right?
Mm-hmm. And aren't they
Wouldn't the
dead?
parents not know, that they're dead?
Yeah, the whole point of the whole ending is that they're dead. They're ghosts. So
The
it's
whole
like their
time, they're
parents just
ghosts.
shipped them off to dead people.
Yeah. It's
Like-
yeah, it's like, oh, so their parents in on it, or are they just stupid? It's like,
Also, they
they
insinuate
just
they're
want to
going
get rid
to
of
eat
these
the
kids.
dog. Is like,
So
are they
annoying.
going to eat the dog?
Yeah.
They're going to make the kids eat the dog too.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Look at this guy.
The ghost of
Yeah, 2
Harrison
pages, man.
Sadler. He's like, that's
Got 2
not a
pages.
ghost. That's not a
ghost.
That's not a ghost at all. That's a guy.
It's a Scooby Doo reveal.
We got
Jerry Sadler.
Harry and
Poor
Jetty
JT.
Scrooge. This is your
that
fate.
pixelated.
Don't go back to
background there.
Chicago, wherever you're from, and stop fucking around. this
Yeah, Ghost Beach. Pretty.
this episode and Harry's Adventure and Don't Go to Sleep are always going to remind me of John Tron because I'm always going to think about what he says.
Yeah.
Like ghosts, I don't like them.
How
None personal,
How
just a
did those
cultural
three,
thing.
man? How did those three get
Cultural
TV Presents books? I'll never know. Never
Don't Go to
know.
Sleep didn't. Yep, it was just
Sorry. Oh, yeah, no. Those two. How did they get TV Presents books over? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, like,
Yep,
Could be
Scarecrow and Vampire Breath, they didn't get any, but Go Eat Worms and Bad Hair Day and Ghost Beach, they got all that.
They all got the books. No Scarecrow Walks at Midnight.
yeah,
It's like, bro.
But now we're getting into the real nitty gritty of this series. Now we're getting into the maybe except one of
Expensive
these,
stuff.
but we're getting into
rare.
the real diamonds in the rough over here. Starting off
A diamond in the rough.
with You Can't Scare Me. Number 14.
Can't scare me,
And we
man.
just had
We
Charlotte.
just
on.
had Charlotte Sullivan on our last episode. Go check it out if you haven't already.
Go check it out if you haven't. It
But
was a great episode.
this is the 14th
Was.
book based on You Can't Scare Me. And again, nothing too special about these, although it has an amazing picture of the mud monster on the inside right down here.
Mhm.
That is a really good
Yeah,
picture.
that is a great photo.
Also, did you ever notice, guys, that I don't know if this is like too obvious or not, but the drawing here almost looks exactly like the Tim Jacobus art.
Jacobus cover.
And it's such a good drawing. I remember thinking when I watched it, he didn't draw that. Like, it looks pretty damn good. You know what I mean? For something he's just sketched when he was, what, like 12? I was like, no way. That's one of the things that always annoyed me.
And then we got this
Yeah.
photo here.
See, that would be a good one to get her to sign, Nick. You screen capture that, go get a scanner, and just scan that up really high res and just be like, sign that.
Yep.
on this.
And then there's the ending there. So this is definitely one of the first like
which gives Isaiah just like goosebumps.
I
this
like
is
it.
one of the first like really rare ones, really valuable ones in the TV Presents series is You Can't Scare Me.
Just kind of weird when you think about it, because it kind of jumped real suddenly. That one didn't used to be, and now all of a sudden it's like a $60-$70 book.
Well, even ghost speech is somewhat rare. Like, you don't see ghost speech commonly either. Like, but it's the price is only just going to go up on those ones eventually. Like, ghost speech will go up. You watch, that'll jump up at some point. Because even mine was a first print. I don't think many of those later ones had second or thirds. And if they did, like Completionist said, kind of like with the Series 2000s, like Slappy's Nightmare, in a third print, that's like rare as, because, you know, it was unheard of to find later books and prints like that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, so Mutant Ghost Speech still not commonly found.
Mm-hmm. But definitely more expensive than You Can't Scare Me.
Yeah, they're in about the $20,
Yeah.
$25 range. But that's why I say, like,
Yeah.
it really jumps up when you get to You Can't Scare Me of like $60-$70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
one that's not as rare, at least from what I've seen, is surprisingly the next book in the series, Monster Blood.
Because it's Monster.
yeah.
Blood.
Monster Blood, for whatever reason, is actually one of the later in these series that is a little more common to find and not as expensive. This was another one of the first ones that I got, surprisingly enough, was this one. So I don't know. It's really weird to think back to be like, wow, I found one of these first when I was collecting the series.
Yeah,
But
it's
again, nothing too.
not super hard to find. I paid $5 for my You Can't Scare Me. There you go.
Oh, aren't you just special?
$5. That's all I'm gonna pay.
Bjorn
I'll sell
loves
it
to
for
rub it in our face.
500.
How easily he
I don't
finds
remember what I
things.
paid for mine, but I know I didn't pay like the crazy prices it's going for right now. I think I did end up paying maybe like 20 or $30 for it.
Yeah,
You Can't Scare Me.
but this one I got for free.
Yeah, I didn't pay $5. That's for sure.
But then we get into the what I call the holy trinity of Goosebumps TV Presents.
Holy Trinity.
Now I don't have two of those. I only
Oh,
have one.
holy shit!
So Bjorn, I'm gonna need your help one last time. For 16 and 17, going up with number 16,
16 and 17.
Attack of the
More
Jack.
houses!
Pull it out.
Let's pull it out.
Now I gotta say these last three
Yeah,
have really good photos on them. I love that photo of the jack-o'-lanterns on the front cover.
I apparently paid $6.
I will
for
say
this
I'm
one.
very happy that they made this into a TV Presents book.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely
It's one of my faves.
a must one that you would want to have as a kid.
There they are, the troopers, 4 of them.
The
Shane,
children.
Shauna, and these two.
There are the children.
Drew.
Happy. Yeah. And then we got the. Look at that. Look at those pretties. Look at these guys.
Yeah, the
Lanterns.
jack-o'-lanterns are very pretty. You're very right.
Stormy night. Dark and
There's that
stormy
two
night.
friends. You know what I wish? I wish they had a photo of those two creepy old people in here.
Surprised I don't.
And it's like, and then I had a dream that I was at this house, and that could be like the image. And it's literally the guy. Why? That would be such a great photo for them to take.
I
But,
do so much.
Yeah.
Oh, houses!
More houses. Now
There
it's
we go.
I was
empty
wondering why they had like crab claws or lobster claws.
because they're
like-
lobsters.
Lobster
What
pup.
was up with that?
Yeah, that
Jack o'
was
lantern
fire.
lobsters?
Fire.
Jacko lobsters?
And then we got one more page here.
These two.
Look at them laughing.
Shane and
They don't
Shauna
have the aliens.
just having a grand
I'm
old
surprised they didn't have
time.
the alien photos of them. Really sad.
They're really
They had
weird,
the-
like earthworm gem heads
Yeah,
that were green.
I love that. That was a great design for them.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
weird.
Jack and
How do they
Jack-o'-lantern,
eat full-grown
man.
adults with mouths that small? They also look like those Muppets. What was it? Is it meat?
Eureka's costume.
Yeah, it was like Beaker.
No, it's like the Beaker. Yeah, like the flat mouth.
Yeah, he's like meep, 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 meep.
Eureka's Castle.
That's what they look like. Big old bug eyes and the mouth that like look like a mailbox just opening and closing all the time.
All right,
We're
here
down
we
to the
got
last two, guys.
17.
Last two.
Calling all creeps. Number 17. Another really
Another
good
one
photo on the
that made a
front.
book. Yeah.
And this is one of my really good condition ones, too. Like, it's beautiful.
Here it is.
Beautiful.
What a pristine copy you have there, Bjorn.
Very pristine copy of Calling All Creeps. And I paid also
Very,
$6.
very pristine.
$6. Still faded over time, but and look how white it's beautiful.
Okay,
It's like it was never read.
So crisp. So clean.
Oh, here we go.
Probably wasn't. You sure it wasn't my book? Because I don't read.
There's Ricky. Ricky the rat.
Ricky the rat.
Ricky the rat.
Ricky the rat.
There's his friends. Look at him, just like,
I don't think there's
you want
friends.
another whiff of his
They
onion
weren't
breath?
friends yet.
No, they weren't.
What is under breath?
I want
Were we
onion
ever
breath.
friends? Really?
We got, like,
You-
And then there's Cry the Cat Girl.
there is. I like that
When
picture.
will the creeps meet?
Why can't we get these guys to like be on the podcast like these guys?
That'd be cool.
Can't find them, man.
Whoa, look at
trying.
those. Look at
Would
those
love to talk to
creep
them.
masks.
See, I like the look of the creep in this. I mean, granted, we discussed it does look like a Gorn from Star Trek, but I'm just saying it still looks cool.
Yeah,
I
it looks
mean,
really nice. I like it.
Would it be awesome if they looked like the book cover as well and how they were described? Yes. Still would have looked good that way too. Like the Goosebumps movie did, but
The Goosebumps
Sadly.
movie actually got the design right, like
Budget.
of the
the budget,
more
you know.
accurate than the TV show did. I think that's one of the
Yeah,
few
for
designs
sure.
of the movie that people said they liked more because it was more accurate. And I
It
think that
certainly
was
looked
very
more
that was
accurate.
like pretty much it. There wasn't many that people
Yeah.
went, "Oh, that looked better." This is one. I think the Creeps is one of the few things that people went, "Wow, they're even wearing like the hoodie and the like." They really kind of did the.
They
the
really
Creeps
went all
justice.
out to look like the cover. Which is, it'd be kind of neat if we saw, like, as much as I love the Jack-o'-lantern in Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, technically, I guess they could keep the heads. But again, I don't like the lobster claw thing. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I think it would have been pretty cool if they did what the book described as
Yeah.
and just kind of went there. But that's all right. I still liked it.
think
Still
so,
liked
too.
it a lot.
But then, even though Slappy was more book accurate in the movie, I still think he looked better in the show.
True story.
He looked creepier in the show.
Yep.
He looked
Yep.
far scarier.
Alrighty, it's time to get to the final
And the finale.
book in the Goosebumps TV Presents series.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge of the Unknown. because it's just the very clear end of this franchise or this series. Yeah, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. This is considered to be maybe not. I don't know what would you guys think is maybe the rarest of these three? Because I've heard it flip flop a lot.
Calling all creeps.
Calling all creeps is rare now.
You would say that because for a while
I see Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes and I see Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns quite a bit. You'll always typically find those, but I've only seen maybe 3 Calling All Creeps in the last year come around for sale. So, I mean, I'm going to say Calling All Creeps.
But Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes is certainly probably the one you're going to be paying a butt ton of money to find. This is the last book.
Oh, those last 3.
The last book in the series that was released. No different than anything. It's just a rarity, I guess. But this is the last one. The very last color photo in a Goosebumps TV Presents is of the Colonel's lawn gnome form.
Major. Can you put it like that?
See, or the major, yeah.
So it was the major. See, I made that mistake before too. I was like, what the hell was his rank? But it was Major McCall.
Yep, Major McCall.
And it was Joe Burton who wrote that was him at the back.
Now, one thing we gotta bring up on the back is that there is another book that is advertised in the back there. Number 19, The Blob That Ate Everyone. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist.
It does exist.
Or does it?
Or does
it exists. I'm telling you, it exists. It does. I have proof. I will
there
get
may only be
proof.
one copy out there.
And you know what? We will do an entire podcast episode on just that one thing when I get those.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it for 2 hours. I hope you guys
We honestly could, though. I feel like we would look at every detail of those pictures, and we probably could. Because then we would probably just talk about what could have come after that. You know, like, that'll continue.
Well, it's going to make me wonder if it had a preview of what the next one was going to be after
on the back of it.
Everyone.
Ooh, maybe it was my best friend.
I'm trying to remember.
Maybe it was my best friend's Invisible, or maybe it was Shocker on Shock Street.
No, it was
Piano Scarecrow Walks at Midnight.
Honestly, the ones I would take is like Piano Lessons, Shock Street, or Scarecrow Walks at Midnight as the next one.
I would do Vampire Breath too, like I said, or How to Kill a Monster. Those 2 are good. But that is the Goosebumps Presents series of books. So
no, Nick,
again,
it was the Haunted Mask advertised on the back.
Yeah, what if it was the Haunted Mask? But
that'd still be cool to see that was going to happen, even if it didn't.
They could have done a 2-in-1.
It's like the Goosebumps Gold thing. It's like the Haunted Mask lives. What could have been.
But that was the Goosebumps TV Presents series of books, and like we said, it was just a sub-series. There was nothing, it wasn't like a main series, it was a side thing. But it's crazy how these books have become like pieces of gold in the Goosebumps collecting community, because now everybody wants them. Everybody wants a piece of this series. And yeah, hopefully we will find proof that there was the Blob That Ate Everyone out there. Currently, it is known just as unpublished, but maybe a few do exist out there in the world. You never know. But only time will tell.
I want to say, like, a lot of these have a lot of popularity because there wasn't a lot of stuff for the TV show. Despite its popularity, it didn't really get merch.
No,
I mean, like, it had a few things. Yeah, it had some T-shirts and it had these books. That might be it.
Again, these books were essentially the only way that you could see these episodes in a physical way, because again, there was no DVDs. They weren't on VHS in the States or Canada.
Yeah.
And you would have to catch them on reruns if you wanted to watch them. So if you had these books, you would have at least some way of experiencing these episodes.
There's cards. There's the 3D Tarzos that did the TV show. The ones that we have from Australia, and there was even some of the
Australia
UK
did
ones,
those.
the flip pick ones from the UK. But there was one thing that I could say they definitely took the inspiration, and it was the monster bag of Mr. Mortman. It was the frog with the popping eyes out. That looked based off the show of Mr. Mortman, the design, and also the Haunted Mask the Haunted Mask paint model was based like the show version with the like how the mask was and everything. I think that was also so they did take some inspiration for the merch from the show.
So was the Executioner from Night and Terror Tower. It looked like him based on the design. So, like I said, there was a few things, but for how popular that show was, I can't believe they didn't start this TV Presents line any sooner.
Yeah,
surprised it didn't start
they started in
the show
1996.
Came out.
By the time that the first VHS tape came out, these were already in development. And so they started pretty early into the TV series run, but they only ran for 2 years. And again, there was only 18 books. So I don't know if there was like a certain how long it took to write these books because certain authors worked on them. So it wasn't, R.L. Stine pumping these out every month. They were pretty few and far between. But for what we have, an interesting set of episodes adapted for the books. Very hot commodities. Definitely must grabs for Goosebumps fans and collectors. And another thing I should bring up, I don't know if I brought this up already, and we won't go too far into it, but if you check out the Goosebumps wiki, there's definitely a lot of things that these books do differently from the episodes. These are definitely based off the TV episodes, but they are adaptations. So there are a few changes to make it work in a print form. There's a lot of them listed over on the Goosebumps wiki, so you can go check out the episodes that these are on, and you'll see how some of them differ. But it's pretty interesting that they're not exactly one for one with the original screenplay. Or maybe the screenplay is different than how it turned out in the final product. Who knows? We'll never know. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. As always, if you like today's episode, make sure you leave a like and comment. Make sure you subscribe to the Goosebumps Crew Podcast if you're watching us on YouTube, audio platforms, and follow the Goosebumps Crew over on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, make sure you follow Bjorn and Nick at Goosebumps Ossifan and Sean on their YouTubes and social medias. They really do deserve it. We'll have a brand new episode of the Goosebumps Crew Podcast for you next week. But until then, this has been the Goosebumps Crew Podcast. From all of us here, we want to wish you all to take care, stay safe, and have a very scary day.